So I just published a video talking about how a condo developer wants to purchase $1 billion worth of standard residential real estate and convert it into rental housing. And in that video, I mentioned how there is currently a shortage for rentals in the Barrie and Toronto area. Tenants are competing and in some cases are being forced to pay more just because there is not enough rentals to go around. And then this piece of news comes out. Toronto is no longer the most expensive place in Ontario to rent an apartment. Barrie, of all places, has surpassed Toronto in becoming the most expensive place in Ontario to rent a 1-bedroom unit, coming in number 3 in Canada overall, right after Burnaby, British Columbia, and Vancouver. But before you decide to completely cancel coming to Barrie because you thought rents were cheaper, or vice versa, you decide to pack your bags and go back to Toronto, we are going to talk a little more about this because this is indeed specific to 1-bedroom units or apartments only. So right before we dive into it, if you're new here, what's up? My name's Andre. I'm a real estate agent here in Simcoe County. If you find this video valuable or entertaining, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you're interested for more real estate content and information that I'm associated with, details are in the description and more on me at the end of the video. So data collected and published by Zumper, which by the way, if you don't know what Zumper.ca is, it's an amazing rental website. If you're a landlord, you should post your listing there. If you're a tenant looking, I'd say you start there. It's much better than Kijiji and Realtor.ca in some cases, not as popular, but definitely growing in popularity. They took thousands of listings to examine the median rent prices across Canada's top 24 cities and found that Barrie is actually more expensive to rent right now for a 1-bedroom unit than Toronto. In fact, they actually found that Toronto rent prices in some areas are the lowest they've been since early 2017. Now, the first thing I want to mention regarding this news is that I don't think they differentiated between condo and freehold listings. We do have a couple high-rise condos here in Barrie. Primarily, they're near the water, so those usually rent out for about $1,750 to $1,900 within those numbers. But primarily, what we have is a lot of freehold 1-bedroom basement or one room with a washroom apartments in the north end, especially for young nurses or professionals working at the Royal Victoria Hospital, students for Georgian College. But there is a difference between condo and freehold. And what we've seen is that freehold rental units tend to rent for a little higher than condo rental units. Maybe in Toronto, it's a little bit different, but especially in Barrie, where we have older condo buildings, it's much more desirable to rent a 1-bedroom, newly renovated 1-bedroom basement unit in the north end, near the college, near the hospital, if you're working there, near the highway, than it is to rent an older condo building, which is in downtown, and you're gonna have to drive or need more transportation to get to where you need to be. And a really big reason for this is your access to the outdoors. When you're in a 1-bedroom condo in Toronto, your access to outside is the little balcony or the little terrace that you have to just step out, get some fresh air, and go back in. If you want to go for a walk, you have to hop into an elevator, put on a mask, go down to the lobby, leave through it, take your key fob with you, all these different things. But in a freehold property, you open the door and you're right there. Especially in Barrie, you open the door, you can be 5 minutes from the waterfront, you can go for a jog, go for a walk, and you might even have a chance to have a little bit of a backyard for yourself. And I'm speaking from personal experience because I actually lived in Mississauga in a condo for a couple months in 2020. I actually posted a video about it, but I took it down because it wasn't a good video. But in that space, I felt a little bit confined, especially when we were in that lockdown. I do think this data is a couple weeks, if not a little bit older, maybe a month or two older. So I think it's going to change because we're now being lifted from the lockdown, everything's opening up again. But specifically in that situation in lockdown where you're only allowed to go out for essentials, everything's closed, you can go out for a couple walks, but even in March when kind of everything was happening, I felt confined in that space and that I couldn't go anywhere. But the first thing to realize is that I strongly believe, like 1,000%, that if they were to compare specifically 1-bedroom freehold properties in Toronto and 1-bedroom freehold properties in Barrie, Toronto rents for 1-bedroom freehold would be higher, especially because of the location and the access to the amenities that you get in Toronto as compared to in Barrie. But for this publication, I think they kind of mix it all in one to get an average or median rent for the general cities in this top 24 chart. And the second thing that I want to mention is that this is only specific to 1-bedroom units. If you look at the numbers here, it is still more expensive to rent a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom apartment in Toronto compared to Barrie. And I think the reason for this is because people just realized, especially in the lockdown, that they needed more space. People and tenants realized that we want more space because your condo, your 1-bedroom condo, was no longer just a place that you sleep, eat, and sometimes study in while you're at school or at work. it's where you're spending 70 to 80% of your time, especially when we were in the first lockdown. And people realize that a 1-bedroom condo is just too little. They feel confined, they feel cramped, and that's why the demand for 2 bedrooms or anything more than a 1-bedroom or 1+ den has grown, while the demand for 1-bedroom apartments has lowered. And as we know, once the demand lowers and the supply remains steadily consistent or increases, the prices tend to drop, as we've seen here. We also saw a slowdown of international students coming to Toronto to study at these universities because you can now study from home. So what's the point of coming here? And usually they would be renting those 1-bedroom units when they can just do it from home and get their education there and save on some housing expenses. But in all honesty, I really don't think this is going to last long. If anything, it's just some negative publicity for Barrie. It's definitely not what tenants looking for in the Barrie area want to hear right now, that Barrie is more expensive than Toronto. But I think really quickly, Toronto is going to be jumping back up on that list to overtake Barrie in the most expensive place to live for a 1-bedroom unit and anything beyond. Because as we open up and maybe travel restrictions ease up, more immigration comes in, we're going to see that demand go up again for 1-bedroom units, because not only is it going to be the most affordable thing in the city, in the GTA area, it's probably going to be what these professionals and these students are looking for. And once everything opens up, maybe, you know, restrictions are lifted, maybe we don't have to wear masks anymore, all these different things, people are going to have access to that outdoor space again and that freedom, and they're not going to be spending as much time in these 1-bedroom condos. But believe it or not, this trajectory for the Barrie real estate market has been expected or foreshadowed for a couple years now. Many analysts actually said a while ago that Barrie was in a prime location to become a great real estate market to invest in, especially with the lakefront, Lake Simcoe, the central location in Ontario, connecting Barrie to not just the northern end of Muskoka and other areas, but the south end as well, not too far distance from Toronto. And they predicted that this would happen. We didn't actually see the type of growth that we were expecting until COVID hit, until so much population ended up leaving Toronto and coming to Barrie. But definitely anyone that listened to those predictions and maybe purchased one property a couple years ago in Barrie is definitely benefiting from that now in terms of the appreciation, maybe the rental rate they're getting, and overall just the economy that's being created currently in Barrie with all this new population moving in. And do you want to know where the next boom might be? Really simple, just buy my online course. Regular price is $999. Discounted price today only is $998, and that's actually going to expire in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm just kidding. I don't have an online course. It's probably going to be Aurelia. Aurelia is kind of already seeing a boom. There is still good potential to be made there. There's a lot of new development going on in Aurelia. There's like $800,000, $900,000 properties being built. So if you purchase property that's already built, when those properties are built in the next 5 years, very likely the value is going to go up. After that, it might be Gravenhurst or Bracebridge because it's just a straight shot past Aurelia on the Highway 400, or it might be Beaverton or Georgina. We just don't have the data yet where buyers are willing to go because Barrie, Innisfil and Angus has gone a little bit expensive, whether they want to go north because they want to just stick on Highway 11 or if they're willing to go a little east. The highway is so important, and it's actually so beneficial that Barrie and Aurelia have the highway running directly through the city. Buyers in the morning, if you have to, you know, if you're living an hour north of Toronto, you have to wake up an hour earlier to get to work. The last thing you want to do is be taking left and right turns in the morning or in the evening just to get home. A lot of buyers just want to get in their car, get on the highway, and just head straight to work and just come right back. So that's why Highway 11 is so beneficial. You just get on it and you go north. That's why buyers are actually willing to go to Aurelia and potentially Bracebridge or Gravenhurst, as opposed to going east into Georgina or Beaverton, where you have to take a couple of different roads and there's you don't have Highway 11. Yes, you have the 404 and Highway 12, I believe, but it's nowhere close to what the 400 is, and it's nowhere near to what the Highway 11 is. So it's just not as beneficial. And I'm pretty sure it ends at some point. So you're going to be taking left and right turns. We just don't know where the buyers are heading to yet, but it could be one of those 3 areas if you're curious to invest in it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some value or entertainment from the video. If you are looking to buy, sell, or invest in the Simcoe area, hit my line. I reply to every email and call back every number if I miss it, which I rarely do, but obviously sometimes it happens. And if you're curious to sign up for my weekly email or my weekly market update for the city of Barrie, we look at new freehold listings, sold freehold listings, average days on market, average price, new condo listings, new sold condo listings, and different things like that. Link is in the description to sign up for that. And make sure to check out one of these videos here for some more awesome real estate content from me. And I will see you in the next one.